Hi and welcome back. So in the past video we were talking about significant figures and I gave you a little bit of an example of saying I weighed an apple on a scale. And in this video we're going to talk a little bit more on counting significant figures. And we're actually going to use, let's say we'll do a couple of examples and we're actually going to use, we'll say that we'll use these same scales, I guess. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do this in a bit of a different way. Let's say I've got my two scales again. So this is, and probably if you're in a chemistry class with a lab, you'll probably have two balances. They're there to determine the mass of something. Let me actually draw that a bit better. I think I can do at least a little bit better job. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better drawing of our cube scale, of our blue scale, which gives us two decimal points after, or gives us two decimal places, and then our orange scale, which is a little bit nicer. It gives us 5 decimal places. So, and probably if you're in a chemistry class that has a lab with it, in your lab you'll probably have a similar configuration where you'll have one scale they'll give you in my, and again we were dealing with mass, so we were dealing with grams. It gave us grams, it gave us 3 places after the decimal point, and then we had another nicer one that gave us 4 places after the decimal point for how much our sample weighed. But anyway, let's do a couple of examples, couple more examples to kind of talk about significant figures with our two different scales. And let's say on this scale, let's say I placed a grape. Let's say I just placed one single grape. And again, I had my digital readout on the scale, and this digital readout told me that this grape weighed 0.02 pounds. So now my question to you is, how many significant figures is this? And you might be tempted to say 2 because you said, well, this other measurement gave us 2 significant figures. So, and it's the same exact scale. So we should in theory know as much information about anything we put on top of the scale. And if you said that, you would be I guess wrong, because this only is giving us one digit. It's only giving us one digit that's really telling us anything about how much this grape weighs. It doesn't matter that when we put an apple on this scale that it told us more information. When we put a grape on this scale is only equipped to give us one digit of information. So this measurement only has one sig fig. Only has one sig fig. So if we took, let's just do another example where we took this same grape and we put it on our nice scale, and now we got a readout of 0.01826 pounds. How many significant figures does this have now? Well, it's got 4, right? It's got 4 digits. And you can think about what it's got 4 digits that are giving us information, so 4 sig figs, about how much this grape actually weighs. And you can think about, in both of these examples, let me choose a better color, what's this 0 doing, really? And it's kind of doing the same thing that this 0 is doing. All it's doing is holding the decimal point. All it's doing is telling us how many what multiple of 10 our significant figure should be at. So it's not really telling us a whole lot of information about how much the grape actually weighs, or it's not telling us I guess you could definitely say it is definitely telling us information about how much the grape weighs, but it's not telling us a whole lot of detailed information about how much the grape weighs. These zeros are just there to hold the decimal point. So that's why they're not considered significant. Let's do another example of this. Let's say I had I don't know. Let's say I put a brick, and I don't know exactly how much bricks weigh, and say, there, that's a terrible drawing of a brick, but it'll have to do. Let's say I put a brick onto this scale, and let's say the weight that I got for it, let's say it came out to be 11.78 pounds. How many significant figures is in this readout? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 sig figs. So we've got 4 different significant figures that are telling us information about how much this brick weighs. Now let's take the same brick and we'll put it on our nice orange scale. And let's say now we get 11.78125 pounds. And you can ask yourself, how many significant figures is this? Well, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be 7 sig figs. So that's, you know, it's good to do a little bit of practice like this where we just count the number of significant figures. Let's do another example. Let's say I put on, what's something that weighs a good amount? I don't know, let's say I put on, geez, I don't know, maybe like a, let's say I put like a whole basket. Actually, you know what? Here, let's say I put a watermelon. Let's say I put a watermelon onto the scale. And the watermelon came up as being 10, let's say it was exactly 10 pounds. How many significant figures are in this reading? And you might be tempted to only say one significant figure, but you have to think about it. So we can have significant figures that, or we can, you know, a 0 is a possible figure for how much something weighs, and really by displaying this information on our digital readout, our scale is telling us that, you know, this watermelon does not weigh 10.5 pounds. It weighs exactly 10 pounds. It doesn't, you know, this watermelon doesn't weigh 9.8 pounds. It weighs exactly 10 pounds. So for, you know, and that might not be the best explanation in the world, but this is going to have 4 significant figures. It's going to have 4 sig figs. And it's because this is giving us, it's pretty much telling us, because we have these trailing zeros, and I'll definitely talk more about the rules of counting sig figs in probably the next video. But these trailing zeros are all going to be significant. These are telling us that we have, you know, very close to exactly 10 pounds of watermelon. So this is going to have 4 sig figs. So now, let's say I took this same watermelon, except I guess it got a bit more vibrant green. Let's say I took this same watermelon and put it over on my orange scale, and we had our digital readout, and it said that it was 10.00257 pounds. How many significant figures do we have here? Well, we've also got, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're again going to have 7 sig figs. Because these zeros are internal. These, you know, we've still got, this watermelon couldn't weigh, you know, it doesn't weigh 10.1 something pounds. We know a bit more information about that. It just so happened that, you know, that it weighed, you know, that there were no tens and no hundreds in our measurement. So anyway, this hopefully that gives you a little bit of an intuition behind the counting of significant figures. If it doesn't, I'd say don't really worry about it. Maybe if you want to look up another video on YouTube and figure out some more about sig figures, I'd say definitely go and do that. In the next video, though, I'm going to start giving you the actual concrete rules of significant figures, and then we'll maybe do a couple of more examples. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.